Hello, students, and welcome to topic 8, our final topic of the term. So, topic 8 is about termination. And so, termination is a really important part of counseling and the counseling process. I think that most people think of termination as well, it's the end. That's when counseling's done. But making termination a part of your treatment is so important. For many people, our clients, and maybe even ourselves, can struggle with endings, right? Because they feel so terminal and they feel like forever and they feel scary and different. And the reality is that we need to have successful endings so that we can learn that endings are not the worst thing in the world, right? Some things begin and some things end, and we move on to different things, and that's sort of part of life that we can adjust to and accommodate to. And so our work with clients can be really beneficial for them when it comes to terminations. Um, One thing that, well, let me go over kind of what we're looking at this week. So there is an overview page for you to look at with the topic of termination in mind. You're going to take a look at some stuff about discharge summaries and documentation. There's a website for you to look at, the ethics of ending. So why is it so important for us to focus on the end, even right from that beginning, that first day? And dealing with client transfers. And so, maybe the termination is not because the client is doing well, it's because we're leaving a site or they need different type of assistance in some way. And so we have to transfer them to someone else. And so how do we deal with that and, not make the client feel bad or anything like that. And so healthy terminations is our goal. I had one professor who always, avoided the word termination because it sounded so rough. Like he would think about like the Terminator when he heard that term. And so he would use transition. It's transition planning. And so it's transitioning from counseling to other support. It's transitioning from one level of counseling to another, or one specialist to another, or things like that. And that makes it sound a little bit more comforting and warm, maybe, for some of us. So this week we do have a lot of things to turn in just because it is the end of the term. And so we have our weekly journal that you're going to do on this past week or this coming week. And your hour summary for the week, excuse me. So just like usual. But you're also going to be submitting the full summary of your Typhon hourly report. And so that's important that you do that full summary as well. You're going to be turning in your evaluations, both your evaluation from your supervisor and your evaluation of your supervisor. You want to make sure you get those in. Obviously, earlier in the semester, we talked about the portfolio that is due this week as well. And so make sure that you're including all parts of that assignment. You want to make sure that the personal goal statement is present, have a case study, any presentations that you did on site or, as part of your training. Make sure you have a bibliography of the different books that you read this semester, and uh, you can include trainings and things like that. And so that's another important piece of the portfolio. And then finally, we have our 2 discussion questions this week. The one is how and when to prepare for discharge. So like I said, these are some things that we could be planting the seeds from day one when we start working with clients. And so what is your process? Where do you feel like it fits in? What are some struggles maybe you've had with termination? And so like, what have you learned from those struggles? Like, what could you do a little bit differently moving forward? And then the final discussion question is your feeling on discharges and terminations, and like, how do you feel when it comes to that? And so you can be more self-aware and process your own stuff so that you're not necessarily like projecting that onto clients, or kind of, we talked about that counter transference piece. And so that is it for this week and for the semester. And so I know it's a lot of things to turn in, but most of them you've kind of been already working on, and are pieces that are just sort of coming together at this point. Again, especially as this term is coming to an end, please contact me with any and all questions you have. If it's something to the group, it could be to the public forum. Questions to instructors so that everyone can see the response, or if it's something very personal specific to you, excuse me, you want to post that in the private messages, the private forum to the instructor, or you can always message me as well. That is it. again, let me know how you're doing. Any feedback or anything that you need, again, let me know. And otherwise, hope you enjoyed the term and are prepared to move on with the next one. Best wishes as you wrap up your program. Thanks.